In the shadowy depths of the Theban mountains, hidden beneath layers of time and debris, a long-lost tomb has finally come to light. The final resting place of Pharaoh Thutmose II, a relatively obscure ruler of Egypt's 18th dynasty, has been discovered near the Valley of the Kings, more than a century after his mummified remains were found elsewhere. This groundbreaking find marks the first discovery of a royal tomb in Egypt since the legendary unearthing of Tutankhamun by Howard Carter in 1922. Thutmose II, often overshadowed by his more renowned predecessors and successors, ruled Egypt for a brief but significant period. His reign, lasting approximately 5 years, occurred during one of Egypt's most illustrious dynasties, between 1494 and 1489 BCE. The 18th dynasty was a time of great military expansion and architectural marvels, dominated by warrior kings such as Thutmose I and Thutmose III. Yet, sandwiched between these towering figures, Thutmose II remained a relatively enigmatic ruler. Historical records suggest that he may have faced health issues, contributing to his early demise at around 30 years of age. His marriage to Hatshepsut, his half-sister, proved to be a pivotal moment in Egyptian history, as she later ascended to the throne and became one of Egypt's most powerful female pharaohs. Despite his seemingly subdued rule, his legacy endured, albeit often through the lens of his wife's greater political and cultural impact. In the 19th century, archaeologists uncovered Thutmose II's mummy in a cache at Deir el-Bahari, where numerous royal remains had been reburied to protect them from tomb robbers. The absence of his original burial site puzzled Egyptologists for decades. Had his tomb been destroyed? Had his remains been relocated due to natural disasters or political turmoil? The mystery endured, with scholars piecing together fragmented clues but never locating the pharaoh's intended resting place. 3 years ago, archaeologists exploring the rocky terrain of Luxor, a few kilometers west of the Nile, stumbled upon what seemed to be a tomb entrance. Initially, experts believed it belonged to one of Thutmose III's queens, as the site was in proximity to several royal consorts' tombs. However, the recent excavation efforts unveiled a stunning revelation: alabaster jars bearing Thutmose II's name and inscriptions referring to him as the deceased king. Dr. Piers Litherland, the excavation director, described the emotional impact of the discovery. "When we first read his name on the vessels, we were in disbelief. Finding a royal tomb, especially one that had been lost for millennia, is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I stepped outside, where my wife was waiting, and I could do nothing but cry." The tomb ceiling still bore traces of its original grandeur, with intricate star patterns painted against a deep blue background, a design reserved for pharaohs. This celestial motif symbolized the king's divine journey through the afterlife, reinforcing the tomb's royal nature. Yet, despite the excitement, the tomb was eerily vacant. Looters had not ravaged it, as one might assume. Instead, evidence suggested that the tomb had been intentionally emptied in antiquity. Archaeologists discovered that the tomb was built beneath a waterfall-like geological formation, and historical records hinted at a catastrophic flood shortly after Thutmose II's burial. The flood may have compromised the structure, forcing ancient priests or officials to relocate the king's remains and burial goods to a safer location, likely the cache where his mummy was eventually found centuries later. Among the artifacts unearthed from the debris, fragments of the Book of the Dead, specifically the Amduat, were discovered. This ancient funerary text describes the sun god Ra's perilous journey through the underworld, ensuring the deceased safe passage to the afterlife. The presence of this text further confirmed the tomb's royal significance. One of the most intriguing aspects of the find was the discovery of inscriptions bearing the name of Hatshepsut within the tomb. Given her later rise to power as pharaoh, scholars have long debated her influence over Thutmose II's reign and burial. Some believe she orchestrated his funeral and ensured his proper entombment before taking control of the kingdom. Dr. Muhammad Ismail Khalid, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, speculated on this connection. Hatshepsut may have overseen her husband's burial personally. Despite the complexities of their political relationship, she ensured that his passage to the afterlife was secured. The discovery of her name within the tomb strengthens this theory. Her legacy remains one of the most controversial in Egyptian history. After her death, Thutmose III, her stepson and successor, sought to erase her memory by defacing monuments and inscriptions bearing her name. Yet, despite these efforts, history has preserved her impact, and now, her potential involvement in Thutmose II's burial adds another layer to her remarkable story. While Thutmose II's body had long been known, the discovery of his tomb provides an invaluable piece of Egypt's historical puzzle. Even though nature and time have stripped it of its treasures, the tomb's rediscovery sheds light on burial practices, ancient flood events, and the shifting political dynamics of the 18th dynasty. The excavation team continues to study the site, searching for additional clues about the pharaoh's life, reign, and the events that led to his tomb's eventual abandonment. Meanwhile, the global archaeological community watches with anticipation, wondering what other secrets the sands of Egypt have yet to reveal.